everybody, I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Duran.
Welcome to VO Buzz Weekly, the first ever web entertainment show dedicated to the voiceover industry.
On today's episode, we have part 2 of Jess Harnell interview, and this thing is going to be insane.
You have this amazing career that's still going strong. How do you keep...
Yes, thank you.
Knock, Chuck.
Yeah.
Knock.
Yeah.
How do you keep your passion?
Passion is the difference between wanting to do something and having to do something.
Right.
If you want to be a painter, you don't paint because you want to paint. You paint because you have to paint. It's like it's inside of you, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is just something that has always been a part of who I am. So my passion for it is my passion for who I am. I love to do it, you know? And it's like, I think that for myself, the more operative word even than passion is probably gratitude. Because honest to goodness, man, there's not a day that goes by that I don't consciously think, wow, man, I am so freaking lucky that I'm in this position that I am in and that I get to do what I get to do, you know? Yeah. So it's like, and as long as my father, the most valuable piece of advice my father ever gave me was he said, you're lucky when you know that you're lucky. Because most people don't. Yeah. The way I look at it is this, I never look at it like I'm getting rejected. I look at it more like every time I get a job, I can't believe I got the frickin' job because I know who I'm going up against.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I absolutely understand.
Every job that I get, it means that Billy West and Kevin Michael Richardson and Rob Paulson and Jeff Bennett didn't get that job.
Right.
And it's like, I almost feel like calling them and going, you know, you could have had Rob Paulson come down, man. So it's like, I'm prepared for that. And in fact, you know, a great little pat on the back kind of compliment to me that I heard once is, thank you, thanks, Jack. Oh yeah, you said, oh, that feels so good. Anyway, a great compliment that I was given once was that my demo tape. I've always tried to make interesting demos. I recommend you do the same. Try to strive for something interesting that hasn't been done a million times, if you possibly can.
Who should they go to?
Oh, there's this one guy, great looking dude too. I don't want to like point at anybody, but we'll get more into that in part 2. The best, honest to goodness, if he wasn't my best friend, I'd say it anyway. I get nothing for saying it. This is the only guy that you should make demo tapes if you're serious about getting into the business, and that's a fact. I get nothing.
Thanks, man.
Okay, I've heard that a lot of the people who teach animation classes begin their classes by saying, you want to do animation, you think you can do animation, you're good at animation, listen to this. And they play my demo. Now, that could have just as easily been any one of those guys' names that I'd mentioned a few minutes ago, sure, or many, many more, but they say, that's your competition. Like, it's really funny to me when I meet people who say things like, I'd like to do voiceover because it seems like a quick way to make some easy money.
Love that.
You know? That.
And it's like, you know.
Oh, that's not true?
No. See, it's a little more complicated. It's not brain surgery, man.
Well, it is true if you're Jess Harnell.
Well, if you're really, really
but
blessed.
Take the easy part out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like you need to have your chops up, whatever it is you're trying to do, and you need to practice as much as you can and make yourself as good as you can. Because when you step out on that field, you're not stepping out with the folks that are in your class or maybe in your community theater. You're stepping out with the people who do this.
Right.
And you've got to be able to compete against those people.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Now, I started training to do voiceover when I was 4.
Right.
For real. And you know that. When we were 15, I would be doing impressions and
absolutely.
And you'd come over and I go, does this sound like this guy? So I worked in it for years, but it's like my first animated session that I ever did, was for it was after the Splash Mountain and the Roger Rabbit stuff. But after that, I got a guest spot on a cartoon show for Disney. And I was so excited, and I was going to play this alien named Bleeb, who was a little evil alien, but he was funny, right? I remember this so distinctly. And me and my buddy Bill Corso, God bless him, we stayed up all night, and I taped like 67 different ideas for this guy. And so
only
you could,
67? You're kind of slacking off.
Wait, just wait to get the wrap up of the story. So 67 voice ideas for how to do this little alien guy. Okay? And I went in there the next morning and I hardly got any sleep. And 9 a.m. I was there at 8:45. Last time I was ever early for anything. You know, but that's another story. But I walked in and the engineer and everybody's there and the director, Ginny McSwain, one of the greats, you know, is there. And I go over to her and I go, hi, Miss McSwain, I'm Jess Harnell. I'm going to be playing Bleeb, the alien. And she goes, oh, that's nice, honey. Good to see you. Okay, yeah, bring that up and make sure they got 2 mics over there. And I'm like, listen, I made a tape. I have a bunch of ideas for Bleeb. I didn't say how many there were. I said, would you like to hear them? And you can tell me which one you want me to do. And she goes, sure. Right? So I turn to the tape and it says, okay, this is Jess Harnell and these are ideas for Bleeb and this is voice number 1. Right? And I start talking and I'm going, well, I think maybe we should do this. And she goes, oh, that's really funny. Do that. Okay.
But I got 66 more.
True story. And dude, I swear, total epiphany. I remember it was like the room rushed at me like in one of those shots and I went, I am overthinking this.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking it. I just need to trust in my instincts that I know are developed, operative. Don't. You do not have instincts if you've never tried to do this before. You need to work your way up to it and practice and practice.
You should have supervision.
Yeah, but it's like I'm like, I think I just need to know that if they throw something at me, which they do all the time. I mean, it's like I have the only job, and those watching, if you ever end up doing animation, I have the only job in the world where I'll come in and I'll sit down and they'll say, okay, Jess, you're going to be playing a 60-year-old English teacher. Okay, and I say, okay. And then I read a few lines and they go, all right, make him 10 years older, fatter, and French. And I go, okay.
Boom, go, yeah.
And you do. My first impression that I ever learned to do.
Okay.
Right, you've heard me do this, but not in years.
I've heard you do everything you've ever done.
I know that's very true, isn't it? Well, you know, I was a big Beatle fan.
That's right.
You know, and what's great about that is like, you know, you do dialects and things and everybody thinks, so it's all the same, isn't it? It's like English accent, French accent, Italian accent. It's not true. There's tons of different kinds. Now, the one I'm doing now is Liverpool, which is the Beatles, right? And this is John, you see.
Yes.
But then if you start doing Paul, it's different, isn't it? You know, because it's not the same.
To stand different.
Right, and then, well, it's, you know, it's sort of back here in the throat, you raise your larynx a bit, you know. And it's like a softer sound, but it's the same accent, you know. But
your
it
face
sounds totally,
changes a bit.
it does a bit, yeah.
Right.
Well, so does it do when they do Bill Cosby. See,
Your
it
face
changes-
changes when you do that. Here, look over there.
No, I can't, because you see, aha!
Yeah,
But
you
the
gotta-
thing is, what I'm saying, it's like Paul McCartney's here, right? And John's here, and then you got George, and George always sounded like he had a cold and was congested, and he talked slowly, you see.
Right.
Same accents, but different voice. And then there was Ringo. You know, and Ringo was
Yeah.
down there at the bottom.
That's cool,
So
man.
again, it's like
That's
they're totally,
awesome.
there's totally, well, it's just the point is that they're all different, aren't
Right. And those are the first impressions you ever
That was the first thing I ever did, dude.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Then I learned to sing like David Cassidy when I was 7 because I went to camp and all the girls, the counselors, liked David Cassidy. So I thought if I could sing like David Cassidy, maybe one of these
How'd that
7.
work out for you?
Oh, it's great.
Oh,
I was
that's funny.
this morning I woke up with this feeling
yeah.
I didn't know how to deal with. You know, David Cassidy. Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about early on in your career you started
Yes.
as a singer. How has that helped you as a voiceover?
Oh, what a good question. Boy, you guys are good at this. huh?
Right?
You know what, man? We know what we're doing.
This ain't our first date, the rodeo.
I often find, Stacey, that a lot of the people, in fact, most of my contemporaries that do this, a lot have background in music, okay, whether it's singing or playing. And it's such a help because if you're musical and a director gives you a line reading, okay, which some actors don't like to get those. I love them because it means I get to go home sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Tell me what you want and I'll do
anything
it.
that gets me to go home, that's what I want to do. So
'Cause
when,
we love that 405 freeway.
but see, when they say something to me and they go say it instead of saying, "Wow, Stacey, I don't know what you mean." They want to go, "Wow, Stacey, I don't know what you mean." I think of it as musical notes, ba 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 da da ba da ba,
Right.
as opposed to
Yeah.
ba 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 ba.
Right.
You know, it's like, and so I musically do it, and it makes it a lot easier to lock into whatever the voice thing is that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Boom.
Does that have is there a term used when you do
Yes,
that?
it's a Harnellism.
Harnell.
I don't know, man. There's no term.
The Harnell School of...
Yes, exactly. I'll be opening that up in a
Is there
parking lot near
website
you.
or something
Yeah,
you should
yeah,
be...
there is.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, there's a memogram.
There was some guy on Facebook for a while saying he was me, but we had him run out of town. There's
Yeah.
nothing. I got nothing. I just
His
finished
hair
organizing
came
my
off when he
closet.
took the hat
That's
off.
right. His hair came
Exactly.
off with the hat.
That's it.
Right. See?
It's the
See?
real thing,
Damn
man.
it.
It's the real deal over here. How do you feel about like big name actors and pop stars getting into the voiceover business?
I want to hear the best possible person, you know, in the job.
Right.
Okay. Now, if that happens to mean that person is a mega movie star, then that's great. Okay. And in fact, there are several mega movie stars who, if the road went just a little over to the side, could have been mega voiceover stars. A few that
Right.
come to mind: Eddie Murphy,
Right.
Jim Carrey,
Right.
Mike Myers.
Right.
Okay, these guys are incredible at creating characters, so they're fantastic. What I don't like, and I've seen this happen many, many times, okay, is when they hire a celebrity to do a voice, and they basically just do their own voice, and the real reason that they're being hired, and I'm kidding you not, is because the executives who are working on the movie want a chance to go to a cocktail party with fill in the blank. I'm not
person.
going to set that person
Okay.
and get pictures and hang them up on the wall, and that's kind of a drag. But
Yeah.
the point is that for voiceover, it makes no difference to like the demographic, which is primarily young people.
Yeah.
If it's somebody who's on a sitcom or in a movie, they just want to hear a cool voice. One thing I like about myself is that nothing I can't change bothers me.
Right.
You know, and I can't change it. So if I've seen contemporaries of mine get really upset about the movie star thing, and I'm like, dude, you know what? It ain't gonna change.
Tell us a little bit about some new projects and...
Oh yeah, okay. Well, all right. I'm gonna do my best now to think about all the cool stuff that I have been.
Take the scroll out.
Blessed.
It's hard for Jess to think of all the stuff that he's doing.
I'm in a new show coming out on Disney XD that's going to be launched very big called Motor City. That's very exciting. It's great for little boys. I'm on another Disney show that's going to be more geared at little girls called Sophia the First. No, I'm not Sophia, although I really want it to be. I am playing the bad guy in that, whose name is Cedric. And he's very funny. I'm Cedric. And I'm also in Doc McStuffins, which I believe is also a Disney show, and I'm Chili the Snowman. That's going to be a great big hit.
Chili the Snowman.
Yeah, I'm in Jungle Junction, which won the British Academy Award for Best Animated Series last year. I play Taxi Crab, who's a Jamaican crab with a yogurt stand, or a smoothie stand. This is what I mean. You guys remember the Gophers on Looney Tunes? The guys who were like, "Oh no, after you. Oh, I insist after you. No, you first. No, you first." Right? Well, I'm one of them, and it's me and Rob Paulson, who was Yakko on Animaniacs.
Right.
So that's kind of like a reunion, and what's really fun is they've just decided to make these two Gophers, well, let's just say as flamboyant as they could possibly be.
Yay.
That's
So they listen to techno and they have an antique store, and it's just freaking great. I just love that. So that's another thing, and of course I'm doing AFV, and a thing that takes a lot of my time that you guys may or may not know much about is this little band called Rock Sugar. And if you have 5 seconds after you're done watching VO Buzz Weekly, go on YouTube and just type in Rock Sugar and hit prepare to have your head explode, because what that thing does is it combines the best of 80s metal, which everybody likes. I mean,
Yes.
I don't care how old or young or whatever you're into, you still like hearing You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC, right? Everybody likes that song. Or any of Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me,
I
or
actually
whatever.
like Shook Me Like a Prayer a little more
Should
now.
be like that. That's our version.
Yeah.
See, because what we do is we take the 80s metal and we mash it together with 80s pop. So basically, Chuck and the guys in the band play AC/DC and I sing Madonna over it. And they play Metallica and I sing Journey over it. So you get your pop and your metal in the same bite.
In the midnight hour, I can feel your power, just like a breath. You know I'll take you there. When you call my name, it's like a little prayer. I'm down on my knees, I wanna take you there.
In 2 years, we've played for hundreds of thousands of people. We've played with AC/DC. We played with Aerosmith. We played with Kid Rock. We played with Poison. We played with so many major bands. And the whole reason for that is there was an idea that was not the same old thing. It wasn't just let's get out there and shake our hair and have really cool clothes and scream real high. It was like, what can we do that's marketable, that'll make us make money? And I've always said that the best way to ensure your own success, in addition to developing the talent that you want to put out there, is to then think of a way to market yourself. People go, why don't you get a haircut? And I say, first of all, terror. And second of all, it's because...
Keeps you warm in the
They
rain.
don't make scissors strong enough.
My hair keeps me warm.
Yeah, it's there. It's like a pelt. Anyway, but the point is that I don't, because you'd be surprised how many jobs I have gotten. Because I go back in and after I audition and I say, why did you hire me? And they said, well, it was down to you and 3 other guys and we wanted to go home and everybody was tired and we said, get the guy with the hair. He was funny.
There you
So
go.
what did I say earlier? Stand out. Don't stand back. Think of being unique. Think of doing something different, right?
That's awesome.
And
Yep.
next thing you know, hopefully you'll get a check and you can send me some money.
If you were to talk to Jess
When he started out.
when he started out, what would you say to him?
The most powerful piece of advice that I could give, and this relates not only to business but to life in general.
Yes.
Okay, there's a book called Conversations with God, and I don't care what anybody's religious bent is or is. I mean, I do care, but it's up to you. You make that decision, and more power to you. But the point is, in this book, a guy was talking to God, and he said, God, what about all the times in my life that I needed you and I was going through a problem or I had a really heavy decision to make, and you never answered me. You never told me what to do. And God replied, and he said, I told you what to do every single time. Think back on those occasions in your life when you were lost or you were confused, you didn't know which path to take. There was always a moment in the middle of that when you would say to yourself or your friend or your family member, whoever you were confiding in, I sort of feel like I should be doing this. He goes, the thing you felt you should be doing was me. So the advice that I would give myself, because when I review my life, all the big mistakes I've made were the times that I ignored that. And that pertains to business, it pertains to relationships, it pertains to life choices, investments, etc., etc., etc. Every time, and that's not to say, it's bad to explore both sides of the situation and to look at, well, what are the both sides?
Like we tend to.
Right, that's fine. But the thing you think you should be doing, or the thing you think you shouldn't be doing, you're right.
Yeah.
So
right.
listen to your instincts.
There you go.
That's it.
Thank you, man.
Couldn't
Yeah,
have said it better.
Appreciate that.
Dude,
How cool is that?
congrats.
Jess Harnell, ladies and gentlemen. the king of voiceover,
The king of
and my
something.
best buddy.
We need a crowd.
Right, man. This
That'd
is
be
so
nice,
cool.
man.
Hey,
Come
man.
on.
Thank you for coming down.
Keep watching this show because everything I ever learned from that guy.
Well, that's it for us this week. Thanks for watching. Make sure to go to VOBuzzweekly.com and subscribe so you can join us each and every week. Also, join us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at VOBuzzweekly. Thanks, everybody. Take care. And remember, you always have time for a little buzz.